Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and allow me to open today's video by asking you guys a question. Do some of you guys remember back a little while ago at the start of the season when I said that I was really craving to cover a really trashy show week to week, and I had assumed it was going to be Darwin's Game? Well, there was one other show I had on standby, just in case, and that was Plunderer. Before we get into the video proper though, I do want to remind you all that sharing these videos around on the internet is a big help, and if you do so and then tag me at JoJo Talks Too Much over on Twitter, I'll be sure to shout you out in another video if we actually do cover Plunderer next week. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. If you can't tell, this is bad. I didn't like this, but is it the trashy show that I wanted? Well, honestly, kind of no. With shows that I consider to be trashy fun, there has to be some element of it that's earnest. And if I'm totally honest with you guys, I really didn't get that at all from Plunderer. I don't really know what I was expecting anyway, because when I look at the crew here, you got the original creator, Sue Minazuki, who worked on Heaven's Lost Property, which is very much a product of its time. The director is Hiroyuki Kanebe from Oreimo. And the big thing with the show, and I'll save this and dig more into it for specific moments, but my big issue with the show is that it's just kind of creepy and mean. Like, there's so many scenes that just feel weird. And in the year of our Lord 2020, I can't help but feel this is very dated. And when I say dated, I don't mean in the same way that, say, a show like Orphan is dated because it's a product of the 90s. I mean, like, it just feels dated as in a lot of the tropes it's trying to pass off are tropes that have been forgotten in, like, the early 2000s and maybe should have stayed there. And that's why I can't really consider this trashy fun. Trashy fun would be stuff like Try Nights or like Arifureta or something like that from last season. And it's why I'm kicking myself hoping that another trashy show comes up, because I should have continued covering those shows just to see where things went. Here, the stuff that makes me not like the show isn't the show falling apart at the seams, although it's not really well written either. It's more just the fact that the writing behind it feels weird, uncomfortable, and yeah, like I said, just kind of mean. However, this is only the first episode. That said, it is the premiere, where you should really be putting a lot of focus on. You should be putting most of your focus on the premiere and the final episode, at least as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know, maybe the second episode saves Plunderer a little bit. It wouldn't be terribly hard to fix some of the issues I have with Plunderer, so maybe episode 2 does fix things. I don't super know. But let's go ahead and go through the episode bit by bit to sort of sort out my thoughts on this one. And let's go ahead and start with the first thing I had an issue with, and that's the very first couple minutes. It didn't take long for me to start kind of rolling my eyes and looking confused. In fact, I actually burst out laughing at this point. So we have this insanely jarring opening with Not Rem here, and she loses her mom in this like really horrific scene where it kind of reminds me of like the creepy demon things from the movie Ghost, which really makes me seem old. But it's just these like weird hands that like stretch. It kind of looks like the hands from ReZero's opening, where like the hands reach out and grab Subaru and pull him in. Only here they reach out and grab Not Rem's mom and like pull her down into the earth and like take her away, and you're like, whoa, that was crazy intense. And then that's immediately followed by this like happy village music. It sounds like you just walked into the Hyrule courtyard, you know what I mean, from Ocarina of Time. And it is so jarring that I actually laughed, because it was just so strange. Such a weird decision to be like, look at this horrible moment, and then everything is happy again. It's like, what? And it's like these it's like a really bright scene too. So you have this like scene at night, and it like these hands like coming from the depths of hell, pulling this woman into this like black gooey abyss, and it's scary and freaky. And then like, I'm not even saying like it fades. I mean, it just jump cuts to like bright colors and like happy village music, and it's like, what the hell just happened? The next note I have here is Minazuki must be fun at parties. And that's because, yeah, look, this scene is uncomfortable. Like, it's not even like, I think we're less than 3 minutes in, and not Rem, aka Hina, who I promise I'll not refer to her as Rem anymore, but I mean, come on. But Hina is at this sort of like wading pool, and she has her feet in the water, and she's talking with these 2 other villagers, and they're just kind of chatting it up, just discussing like where Hina's from, what her business is in the city, and they're just, you know, having like a normal conversation, trying to kind of ease the audience into what Hina's deal is, where she's been, blah blah blah. And that actually felt organic, which I can't say for the rest of the story, because the rest of the episode's writing really doesn't feel organic, feels really forced and stupid. And then Lich, or however you want to pronounce it, he appears. He's the MC, and he swims over, and he's like rubbing his fucking face all over Hina's leg, and Hina's very clearly like not into it and trying to get away, and you actually see her like reaching for her socks and like trying to pull them on and like trying to leave, and he's like holding her leg there, and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna get a yikes from me, Chief. And I mean, like, that's not even the worst of it. Because of the way Minazuki wrote these characters, I can't help but notice, like, the one dude's number is under his eye, another dude's number is on his arm. But the girl characters, their numbers are on their boobs or really, really far into their thigh. And it makes for too many scenes where characters are forcibly moving Hina's legs open, and you get this perspective shot like it's supposed to be sort of titillating, and it's really uncomfortable and gross. And like, listen, I'm not the kind of dude to tell people that they can't enjoy ecchi. You are free to enjoy ecchi. I enjoy ecchi, but when it's used cleverly. If you're gonna have an ecchi, then don't just make ecchi for the sake of being ecchi. Just have the characters be attractive. You can have shots that sort of like ogle on characters, that's fine, but do characters really have to fucking sexually assault each other? Do we really need that? Before you ask, no, I'm not that dude. I don't care if you like it or you don't. These videos are just my opinion, and I'm not gonna tell Minazuki what he can and cannot write. If Minazuki wants to write thousands of other stories like this, he is absolutely free to do so. Just as much as I am absolutely free to say, no thank you, and back away. And that's pretty much what this video is. This video is a big no thank you. And it has to be a video because if I say it on Twitter, some people won't see it because some people only follow the channel. So here's my big no thanks. Probably not gonna continue to cover Plunderer. Maybe the second episode's better. If the second episode's better, then like, yeah, I'll come back. But I'm not holding my breath on that. Maybe, but I can't really see it improving. Here's the other big thing about the, and keep in mind, we're still just at the friggin' wading pool scene. Here's another thing that bugs me. How the hell has Hina survived on her own for 5 years and not known how her own world works? It is established that the number on Hina's leg matches the distance that she has walked, I believe, by like 1,000 kilometers or something insane like that. So Hina's walked like too far for a human being to walk. But basically Hina's just like a beast and is great at cross-country running, I guess. And she still has no idea how the world works. And this comes into play even more so later, but it just makes me question, like, did Hina speak to anyone in the 5-year span after her mother passed, or died, or was killed, or whatever you want to say? Because genuinely, I don't understand how a human being could function in that world without knowing how that world works. And especially knowing what her mission is, I feel like that would have come up. I feel like she would have known these things by now, so it just felt like, well, I have to explain to the audience how the world works, so I guess Hina can just be a fucking idiot, and that will allow me to explain the rules to Hina, who should already know this stuff, but that way I could tell the audience too. it's just poor writing. But to also lift the writers back up, I will say, the numbers element of the show is genuinely kinda cool. I like the idea that this world's whole system is set up around numbers, right? And everybody it's sort of like Quirks from My Hero, but with a very deadly side effect, right? Because everybody has a specific thing that they have to count. The higher the count, the more kind of perks you get. The lower the count, the closer you are to death, and the less perks you get. If your number is higher than somebody else's number, then that person has to obey you because your number is higher than theirs, but also vice versa. If you meet somebody whose number is higher than yours, they tell you to do something, you have to do it. I find that very interesting. I like the idea of this number that follows you around, and it sort of like denotes where you stand on the social totem pole. I think it's really clever and interesting, and I just wish it was in a better story. Also, the ace dude, who I was like, oh, Ace? No, not that kind of Ace, just the name of a big hero. And we get this fake Ace who is evil, even though it was super friggin' obvious that this dude was gonna be evil, to the point where, again, it just sort of left me scratching my head wondering if Hina just jumped face first into a rock a couple times before the show started, because wow. But yeah, he's really evil, and then he also gets very handsy with Hina, and again, I get he's the villain, but it's the same issue that I have with Fire Force, same issue I have with early episodes of SAO as well. Making your villain rapey is just, at this point, bland, which is really sad to say, but yeah, it's just a gross writing strategy, so I don't understand why you would even bother doing it. If you're gonna write in rape, at least be like smart about how you're writing it. Here it's just like, well, I need him to be evil, and that's the most evil thing I can think of doing, even though my fucking hero did that to her 5 minutes ago. What else do I have written down here? The 300-year twist just made Hina's character make less sense. That's also true. Yeah, this makes no sense. She's been traveling around for like 5 years. She just never questioned, like nobody told her, like, oh, what, the Aces? No, they've been dead for that war ended like 300 years ago. They'd be like super dead. I don't know why you're looking. Nobody told her, so if nobody told her that, I have to believe that everybody in this world is either dumb and didn't know, or B is just an asshole and didn't say anything. Or even worse, Hina just didn't ask, and this town is just the first place that she asked. The writing's so bad, but also like the animation's not that great either. Like next we get like fake Ace versus Lich or Licked or whatever you want to say, Lick-a-tongue, and this is another thing too, because even during the fight scenes, I'm questioning the character's motivations in the writing, because this character clearly shows that his number is negative 999. And the fake Ace dude is like not questioning this at all. He's just like, you're the lowest of the low. I'm evil. This dude may as well have had like that evil twirly mustache. That's how evil, quote unquote, this dude was. Just so generic and stock. And he just like starts like going to town on our boy Licked here. And his cronies are the ones who have to be like, wait, no, that number doesn't make sense because he should be dead. And then that's when the fake Ace guy is like, oh, nani? It's like, yeah. Why did you just think of that? Isn't that like a well-established part of your world? That if your number drops beneath 0, you're dead? Yeah, but like the token or whatever the hell. Like, yeah, okay, you're right? Because he may have seen people with a negative number, knowing that the only way they can have that is if they had some kind of token or whatever the hell. If he knew that, he still should have been more prepared to fight somebody with whatever this weird token shit is. The whole scene was just so dumb, because it just made the character, like, seem really stupid until his henchmen pointed out that the dude had a negative number. Like, he just dismissed the fact that there was a minus beside the number. And it just... the writing's so bad. But like I said, it's not like the animation's that great either, because the fight itself is so boring. Like the whole show had just like animation that was just the bare minimum you needed. Just enough to get you through the show. Up until one thing, and this is like another, I have two nice things to say. The first was that I thought the numbers concept was cool, and the second was shout out to whoever animated the mask falling apart, because that actually was cool. Watching the mask crumble apart was satisfying in that sort of like those videos that are like weirdly satisfying videos on YouTube, where it's like watching like silk curtains blow in the breeze. Or I guess if we want to be more modern with it, watching people cut soap on YouTube. It's like, this shouldn't be satisfying to watch, but it is. It is very satisfying to watch. I like watching Licht's mask fall apart. The way the cracks move through the mask and then they slowly kind of crumble apart and they almost like kind of, I don't know, it's just satisfying to look at. It was nice. I liked it. I liked the mask falling apart. And then the episode ends with Licht kind of holding, I swear to God, I almost called her Rem, holding Hina in his arm, and he's like in like the big hero pose, and she's like doing the damsel pose next to him. And again, like, listen, I don't have anything wrong with like the damsel and the hero. If you can tell that story well, then by all means you go ahead and tell your big hero in shining armor saves the damsel in distress. You tell that story, and I will likely enjoy it, but it is not told well here. Again, and the same thing goes with ecchi. You want to make an ecchi story? Cool, you make it good, I will be there. I will likely enjoy it. Ya boy is a gigantic fan of JoJo, and that was fun. That at least had fun with the ecchi. It didn't make it weird and rapey. I saw some folks on Twitter claiming that this is like their trashy anime of the season, and if it is, kudos. I'm glad you enjoy it. Like I said, I'm not trying to take it away. I'm not one of those like crazy people who are like, we need to stop these. I'm like, no, if you enjoy it, then fine, whatever. It's fiction. It's an anime. You can make whatever the hell you want. Like, just, you do you, right? Like, I'm just giving you my opinion on it. And my opinion on it is that unless they really change things in episode 2, which again, folks on Twitter did kind of insinuate that like, yeah, it gets better in episode 2. Yeah, Otaku Fangirl, I'm looking at the tweet now, Otaku Fangirl even said that Licht gets better by episode 2. His character does a 180. So like, maybe episode 2 might impress me. I don't know. You never know. I'm willing to change my opinion on it, you know? If the show leans more on the numbers concept and like makes Licht and Hina more interesting than just like ecchi fodder and a weird creepy dick, then like, yeah, I'm all for it. And like I said, if you're enjoying it, then it's all yours. Like, I'm not trying to take it away. I'm not like one of those psychos who's like, oh, you can't do this in an anime. It's like, no, you can do whatever the hell you want. Art's art. You can do whatever you want. But I'm also entitled to have my own opinion on said art just as much as you guys are. And my opinion is that I didn't like this very much. With that said, everybody, I'm gonna go ahead and give this first episode a D rank. I almost gave it an F, but I'm not gonna lie, the scene with the mask and just the whole concept with the numbers kind of lifted it up for me. And I don't know, maybe episode 2 can kind of work its way up even further. Maybe, I don't know. I hope people aren't too mad at me about this video, if I'm honest. And that's gonna do it for today's video, everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And before we go, as always, I have to give a big thank you to the good folks over on Patreon, especially those in the Earl Grey tier: Andrew W., Calvin A., Crowbar of Irony, Daniel G., Digger the Fox, Dominic G., Ionos, Urza, Ginkutaku, Godzilla Fan, No For Nothing, Maria Teresa, Marshall B., Mirth Mouser, Cell, Shadow Creative, Sipco Games, Somastan, Stephen G., Sakochi, Tristan G., and Verdon. A huge thank you to all of you in the T Squadron for your continued support, and if you too would like to join the T Squadron, then be sure to check out the first link in the description to check out our Patreon page, see all the cool rewards you can get over there, as well as access to our Patreon exclusive Discord for as little as $1 a month. And with that said, we're gonna wrap up today's video, everybody, so thank you all once again for watching, and if you are feeling stressed out today, then you go have yourself a warm cup of tea, and I will talk to you all again real soon.